I'm going to show you how to work with Anna's curly hair. So this is, I think you've just braided your hair today, have you, Anna?
I did, yeah. I just put it in 2 plaits.
Yeah.
I'm detangling it with some coconut oil.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're now going to wet Anna's hair. I think we might actually get her to wash that coconut oil out first of all, and then we'll wet the hair, and then we're going to start with the styling, and we're going to get an absolutely beautiful curl. So Anna has washed her hair and taken out all the coconut oil, and the shampoo that she's actually used her own products today, and she's used the Moroccan oil hydrating shampoo, followed by a little bit of the Bouclem, it's like a curl conditioner, and she's kind of put a little bit of this in and rinsed it out. So Anna's kind of worked out a technique that works well for her hair. So when you're working with your girls your ladies who've got curly hair, you know, if they like the products that they're using, it's always a good idea to continue that and to use them on the wedding day. We are going to do some pin curling, but I'm also going to show you a really quick way of drying the hair. When we did the trial, when I worked with Anna's hair before, we tried her own curl product, which is the Davines, what's it called again? A curl
building serum.
Davines curl building serum. And we also tried the Trepadora. We've got a leave-in curl primer, and we also have a bamboo ginseng curling glaze, again by Trepadora. And these products are fabulous on curly hair. So it's always worth getting something like this for your kit. And I'm going to show you how to work with both of them today, both the Trepadora and the Davines. But the first thing to do is to make sure that the hair is really kind of super wet, kind of dripping wet. So we've got a towel around Anna's shoulders. She's got a towel in her hands because it might drip down her face a little bit, but it's all part of the plan. And you want to keep your water spray handy because you will be needing it again. And then we're just going to brush through the curls just to make sure there are no tangles. And I'm using a wide tooth comb. And when you brush through the curls, always start at the ends and work your way up to the root. Start creating your sections. We've got our 2 side sections, our top section. Let's do our crown section. Twist and secure. And then we're going to come down in sections down the back of the head. You can keep wetting the hair as you go along if you feel you need to. And you want the sections to be maybe 1 inch deep or less if your lady has very thick hair. Now I've checked with Anna how much of the product she usually puts on the hair, and you know, so if like on the whole head she puts like a tiny little amount, then you know that you only need a very small amount on each of these sections. But you can play it by ear and try different amounts, but you don't want to overload the hair. So if you're using your client's product, definitely check with them what amount they would normally use on the whole head. So just a little kind of pound coin amount of hair, amount of product. And we just want to put that through that section of hair. So we're not working a curl at a time for this technique. What we are going to do, we will be in a minute, but just to put the product on, we're going to put it on all that section. Come through, make sure it's evenly distributed, and then we're going to start working with the curls. So now we're going to get our curls, and we can wrap the curl around your fingers, 1 finger or 2 fingers. But you're just going to kind of go a section at a time, a curl at a time, and create the perfect curl. So maybe when you're doing your trial, you could do some sections on 2 fingers and some on 1 finger. So you're going to get lots of perfect kind of even curls. Another good question to ask is how thick your client likes her curls. So if she likes kind of big chunky curls, then you would get bigger sections of hair. So you might kind of do a few sections together and create the curl. Wrap that curl around your finger. Let's just go back, that's it. Make sure that they're all beautifully shaped. With Anna's hair, we're going to do medium-sized curls. And because the hair is lovely and wet, the curl, it's already falling into the curls. So you don't have to struggle and wonder which hair, whether the hair belongs in that curl or it doesn't. Because if the hair's wet enough, the curl will already be there. And we are just kind of working with those curls. And then you're going to work, and you can do them in the same direction, in different directions. When it all dries, it'll all just be fabulously, beautifully curly and glossy and gorgeous. And now we're on to the next section. You might need to make it wet again. A coin size amount of product, I would say, onto the hair. And section by section. Now because the hair is so wet, you want to make sure that they stay comfortable. So Anna has a towel around her shoulders. She's got a towel in her hands. And I've also got a towel on the floor because there's going to be quite a lot of water kind of dripping down onto the floor. So now we're on to our next section. So again, we've got all the curls here. If you want to keep them separate from the curls we've already done, you could just sweep them over her shoulder, and then you're going to start creating your little curls by wrapping the hair around your finger. You're not exactly creating the curls, you're just perfecting the curls because the curls are already there. And the wetter the hair for this technique, the better. And don't worry about drying the hair, because I'm going to show you a fabulous way to dry the hair quickly and easily with zero frizz. So I'll go a little bit slower so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So this little bit of hair wants to be separate, so I'm going to pop that into that curl below. You can do one finger, you can do two fingers. Wrap the hair around your finger. Slide the hair off and let the curl go. A little bit more water. And don't worry if a bit more water goes on the hair underneath, because it won't affect the curls. I think we might do a bit more trappadora here, and then at the front section there we'll go back to Anna's product. And you want to make sure that there's a generous amount of product all the way through the hair from the roots and particularly at the ends, especially if your client, if she needs a little trim so it's a little bit dry at the ends, you might need to be a little bit more generous at the ends of the hair. Then same amount of the glazing, the curling glaze. So you can see this, it's really lovely and wet, the hair. Now here what we're going to do, we want to get a little bit of height here with the curl. Now Anna has quite long hair, so what we're going to do to get the height is we're going to pin curl the hair and just pin those curls in place so it helps to hold a little bit of root lift in the hair, because otherwise, because the hair is quite wet, the weight of the water and the weight of the hair can pull the hair down, so you don't get that much root lift. So I'm going to show you how to get root lift when working with natural curls. So you're going to get your curl, wrap it around your fingers. Let's do around 2 fingers here, I think, actually. Wrap the curl around your fingers. And then, using one of your long section clips, just pin that in place. And then go on to your next curl. Wrap that around your fingers. And using that same section clip, you can just nudge it along so it holds both curls in place. And then you can go on to the next one. Wrap that around your fingers. So I'm using 2 fingers because we're kind of pinning the hair up with the section clip. We don't want it to be too crazily curled, too tightly curled. So you can, find that if you do 2 fingers, especially here where we're pinning everything up, you still get a lovely curl, but it's not too tight. And then we'll go on to the next section. If you have a look here, I'll just show you. So it's kind of like, it's probably about the width of your finger and however long your section clip is. So I'll start at the back, create the curl. You can go in different directions here. Create the curl, get your section clip, pin curl number 1, and move on to curl number 2, and then just keep pin curling, keep clipping until you've worked your way through all the area of the crown here. And the idea here is that we're kind of helping the hair, helping the curls to kind of achieve some root lift so they look lovely and full and gorgeous on top. So around the front here, these little fine kind of tiny curls, you can just wrap them around your finger and just create a lovely curl, because if you pin curl any of these short curls, they'll just be way too short when they dry. So let's have a look at our different products on the hair. So we have at the back, on the bottom half, I'm not going to touch it too much, but on the bottom half, I'd say up to about here, we've used Anna's product. And then on the top half, from just about around about the ear to the front of the crown, we've used the Trepadora. Some of it's been just left down, some of it's been pin curled. And then at the side, we've got Anna's product pin curled. No, Trepadora. We've got Trepadora pin curled, Anna's product pin curled, and then and then Anna's product just left down. So we can have a play around and see what works best. So now we're going to dry the hair. Now I'm actually just going to use a fan heater. If you use a diffuser and a hairdryer, then I find you still get frizz. It's very hard to stop the hair moving around at all. I use this for my hair now. I never use a hairdryer anymore, so I'm going to show you how you can use this technique just using a heater, getting the hair perfectly dry, and then creating this gorgeous curl. You want to prop the heater up so it's kind of coming onto the hair. You can hold it onto the hair. Ideally, if you've got a table or a chest of drawers, you can just rest this onto, and your client just needs to sit near the heater and have that nice kind of slow ambient heat, just slowly drying her hair. It'll take about half an hour to dry the hair, depending on the thickness of your client's hair. It might take, my hair takes about 10 minutes, but if your client's got quite a lot of hair, might take 20 minutes or half an hour, so it's not really that long. If you've got other bridesmaids you can be working with, then now's the time. Does that feel okay? Comfortable? Yeah. And we'll come back in 10 minutes or so and dry the top and the sides. And then we'll dry the top of the hair. Now we don't want to get the hair that's been pin curled, we don't want it to be totally dry because it will be way too tight. So you just want to take some of the wetness away. So it's just a little bit damp, and then we're going to take it out of the pin curls and we're going to finish the drying process. Just keep checking every now and again. Make sure it's not getting too dry on the pin curled sections. So now let's take the pin curls out and then we'll continue to dry. Just take one clip out carefully. And then let all the curls tumble. A little bit wet, these could maybe be a touch drier, but you can see we've got a little bit of root lift here, and that's what we're looking for. If by any chance you've kind of allowed the hair to get too dry and the curl is too tight, don't worry, just get your water spray and spritz the hair a little bit and you'll find the curls will just settle down again really easily. So it's much fuller on this side. It's not dry yet, but you can see the hair. So you can see the hair here is coming out a little bit more than it is here. Ah, yeah. You can see we're getting that lovely root lift. And that's just from pin curling the hair. So now let's finish drying. It looks gorgeous. So now I think, Anna, you can tip your head upside down. Yeah. So now we've got all of Anna's hair kind of flung forwards so we can get a bit of root lift everywhere, even here at the back. Direct the heat away from your client's face and don't go too close to the hair, but really just want to make sure your client is comfortable. And if you're doing this style on a hot sunny day, you might not need the heater at all, or you might just need it a tiny little bit. If you have the pin curls in there, you want to leave a little bit of dampness in the hair, but once all the pin curls are out, you can dry the hair properly. The last little bit now. So what I want you to do next is just tip your hair forwards and let's just get some root lift. What you want to do here is just going to go in with your hands and move the hair around. You're not pulling your fingers through the hair. You just want to go in at the root and zhuzh. Come out again, go in and zhuzh. So we're going in, zhuzhing, coming out again. Don't start pulling your fingers through the curls, or else you're going to end up with lots of fly away, messy curls. We just want to get that kind of natural look in the hair. And now we're going to assess which curl we prefer best. So let's fling it all back. That's it, lovely. And then look at that gorgeous curl.
There you go, all done.
Gosh.
There we go.
And both curls look gorgeous. So this is the Trappadora, and it feels a little bit crispy, the Trappadora one, but all you need to do, that's just the cast on the hair. Just crunch it a little bit and that breaks the cast. So if you feel it, don't worry about any crispiness, it's all part of the process. You can just scrunch it a little bit, it breaks the cast, softens the curl, and the curl is perfect. Now, with Anna's product, it doesn't have a cast on there, it's just lovely and soft. And both curls actually look gorgeous. This one's a little bit flyaway. Don't worry if you get a few little odd ones. I think this one is where we tried to make the curls a little bit thicker.
Ah, okay.
And actually, I think it would be better to keep them...
The shorter ones.
Yeah. Keep them a little bit kind of smaller, so less hair in each curl. But don't worry if that happens. A little bit of water, wrap the curl back around your finger, and then it just needs a minute or so to dry. You could pin it up if you wanted to, but I think we'll just leave it there and just let it dry. We've got a lovely kind of glossy curl here, which is gorgeous, and the hair looks so shiny, and each curl is perfectly defined. And then as we come up a little bit higher, we've gone on to the Trappadora, and I would say with Anna, it's slightly less glossy. That's the only difference. The curls are still lovely. We could break that cast a little bit on this Trappadora one, but they're both gorgeous. I think it would just be a case of personal preference, and I know when we did the trial, I think we actually chose the slightly more glossy curls, which we get with with Anna's product, the Deviness.